Oh, hello there, and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm Frank Foster, your host, and our mission here is, well, to explain every military award from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and even the Merchant Marine if you want us to. So, let's get started. Today we'll take a look at the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross medals and their 4 variations. These are personal decorations and they were awarded for valor. And we'll also take a look at the criteria and who has authorized the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. So the Gallantry Cross goes back to 1950. Early on, the Department of Defense had real restrictions on the acceptance of foreign military decorations. And a big change came in the Department of Defense regulations because they started to allow the receipt or award of foreign decorations and medals for meritorious service. Well, why shouldn't they? We had special forces and advisors. We had troops here for over 15 years, and many of them serving multiple tours. And the South Vietnamese government had an elaborate award system patterned after the French. So enough talk. If you enjoy these, please give us a thumbs up, even better subscribe, but let's get going. And special thanks to Medals of America and Fountain Inn, South Carolina for sponsoring these programs. Here are the 3 basic medals awarded for service in the Republic of Vietnam. Starting on your left, the National Defense Service Medal. In the center, the United States Vietnam Service Medal. And on the far right, the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, which was awarded for 6 months service in the Republic of Vietnam between 1965 and 1973. In the 1970s, the Republic of Vietnam authorized all American service personnel who served in Vietnam the award of the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry Unit Citation, as shown in the upper right-hand corner, with a gold frame for the Army and a smaller variation for the Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard. This is not the same as the medal shown to the right, which was an individual award for valor. We'll start by looking at the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross, a personal decoration awarded for valor, and then we'll go and take a look at the Republic of Vietnam Unit Citation. I need to pause for just a moment and point out that the Republic of Vietnam had 3 different Gallantry Crosses. Starting on your left, it had the Gallantry Cross for the Army, and then it had a Gallantry Cross for the Air Force and for the Navy. And if you'd like more information on those, we have a separate video. In fact, if you have an interest in the medals and insignia of the Republic of Vietnam and her allies during the 1950 to 1975, you really ought to get a copy of our book, which is available for you on Amazon. Just click below. The Gallantry Cross, as shown here, was patterned after the French Croix de Guerre, or French Cross of War, as shown on your left. The Vietnamese version is shown just to the right of it, and that's the Vietnamese-made version of the medal. The Cross of Gallantry was equivalent to the French Croix de Guerre. It was also available in the miniature format. There's a Vietnamese miniature shown, and then next to it, to the right, are shown 2 American versions of the Gallantry Cross miniature, one in bronze and one in gold-plated. On your left is the Vietnamese-made version of a Gallantry Cross, and to the right of that is a U.S.-made version of a Gallantry Cross, and you can see the nominal differences there. The Gallantry Cross was awarded for valor or heroic conduct while fighting the enemy. And like the French version, there's a bronze cross pattée with 4 arms interconnected by engraving representing 2 dragons and with 2 cross sabers between the arms, which indicates it's a combat medal. And a disc in the center has a map of Vietnam with laurel branches on either side and a ribbon across inscribed in Vietnamese, which translates to Reward of the State. The Gallantry Cross, the equivalent of the French Croix de Guerre, was at first sparingly given, but as the war continued, it was more widely bestowed, often known just to infantrymen as a reward for heroism and the peril that they fought in. Many American military personnel received the Cross of Gallantry as a personal decoration, just as the French generously bestowed the Croix de Guerre in World War I and World War II to their allies. So did the South Vietnamese extensively award the Gallantry Cross to Americans and other allies in the war. The Gallantry Cross could be presented on the spot to deserving soldiers by the regimental commander or the province chief without the preliminary paperwork required most other awards. There's also a blackened version of a Gallantry Cross, reportedly with palm, given as a posthumous award to the relatives of soldiers killed in action, and I'll show you an example in a moment. The Gallantry Cross was awarded in 4 degrees. The first was for a citation at the Army or Army level, and that was with a large bronze palm device on the suspension ribbon and a small one on the service ribbon. The original regulations specified 2 cross palm leaves, and a blackened palm was reportedly used late in the war for posthumous awards, and a silver palm was sometimes used to represent 5 bronze palms. A gold star was for a citation at the corps level, and then a silver star was for citation at the division level, and a bronze star was for citation at the regimental or brigade level. I'll show you some interesting examples in just a moment. When presented to Vietnamese forces or to Allied forces, it came with the medal and a certificate. The award came as a medal with the appropriate palm or star to indicate at which level it was awarded, and also an embossed certificate in color and a set of military published orders signed and sealed. A special favor, please. If you enjoy these shows, please give us a like and even better, subscribe. It'll keep us on the air. Okay, thank you. Mentioned earlier, there was a blackened version of a Gallantry Cross issued to relatives of Vietnamese soldiers killed in action. You can see it on the left compared to the normal bronze version of a Gallantry Cross. In addition, South Vietnamese soldiers would have received the wound medal as shown in the center and to the right. Those medals were never authorized for award to United States military personnel. Over 15 years after the Republic of Vietnam established the Gallantry Cross, they established the Gallantry Cross Unit Citation in 1966. And the criteria for it was to award to certain units of U.S. Armed Forces for valorous combat achievements during the war. And it was also presented with a palm, star, silver, gold, bronze, depending on the level of award. However, towards the end of the war, the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross Unit Citation was authorized to every member of the United States military armed forces who served in Vietnam. And it is authorized for wear as a unit award or as a ribbon-only award and not as a medal. Except, of course, for those veterans who would like to have a medal in their display to represent the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. And in that case, there is a Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross Unit Citation commemorative medal available, shown on the far right. I'd like to show you some examples of the Gallantry Cross presented to veterans during the Vietnam War and the Gallantry Cross Unit Citation presented to veterans. And we'll start with this unique display of a Navy chaplain who served with both Navy personnel and Marine Corps personnel. And you can see that he is the recipient of the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross. If you look at his ribbons, you'll see just after the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross with gold star. And then below that is the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. So there's a great example of someone who's received both the medal and the unit citation. And here's an example of a Marine infantryman who was awarded the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross at the Army level and displays it ahead of his Vietnamese campaign medal. Here's a one-of-a-kind display. Airman First Class John Levito was the first U.S. Air Force enlisted personnel to receive the Air Force Medal of Honor. He was awarded that Medal of Honor for saving his AC-47 gunship and crew in Vietnam. And he not only earned the Medal of Honor, but 2 Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Crosses, his Purple Heart, and 8 air medals. An extraordinary display of valor. This Army Warrant Officer Aviator shows the award of 2 Vietnamese Gallantry Crosses, 1 Bronze Star for indicating award at the regimental level, and 1 with a Gold Star to indicate award at the Corps level. It's very unusual to see those 2 stars on there indicating the different award levels. In addition to a commemorative medal available for the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry Unit Citation, there are also commemorative medals available for the Presidential Unit Citation, the Meritorious Unit Citation, and for other Vietnamese unit citations as shown here. I'll give you an example. This is a nice example of a veteran of the 1st Cav Division where he used commemorative medals to represent the unit awards that he received for his service in Vietnam. In this particular case, the Presidential Unit Award, the Meritorious Service Award, and the Vietnamese Gallantry Cross Unit Citation. And so he has a commemorative medal to represent each one of those in his awards display case. So see you next time on Veterans Medals Workshop. And special thanks to Medals of America and Fountain Inn, South Carolina for sponsoring us. See you next time. If you'd like more information and complete details on all the military awards of the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force, and even all of the military patches, check out our books on Amazon.